Hi everybody and welcome to Cap at Home in our after school hours where we are doing art tutorials in the afternoon at 4 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So thank you for joining me again. Again, my name is Miss Allie and today we are going to be doing some awesome leaf Zentangles. So these are like leaf stencil Zentangles. So it's going to get us outside in this unusually nice weather for November in Michigan. Have us pick up some of our leaves, which I'm sure are all over our yards. And we will get into making some really cool projects. So today what we're going to need is a piece of paper. So whatever kind of paper you have, I just had some paper out of a sketchbook pad. White paper is fine. If you want to use colored construction paper, that also works great. And if you want to do it on thicker paper, like cardstock, you could do that too. We are also going to need some markers. So I always recommend a black marker or Sharpie or colored pencil to outline things in, as well as a pencil and eraser to start out with. So handy pencil. And of course, we are going to need some leaves. So this will get everyone outside today in this nice weather and to pick up some leaves. So I have an example here today of our Zentangle. And so Zentangle is actually a form of drawing where you use patterns and designs to fill up the space. And so Zentangle coming from the word Zen, because it is really relaxing, repeating patterns and shapes over and over. And it is a really good form of relaxing in this nice fall afternoon. So hopefully we'll all enjoy that. But first step we need to do is to actually collect our leaves. So I went outside a little bit ago and collected a bunch of leaves before my dad was mowing them all up. So that was great. So I have some leaves here. And what I did, because we are going to be tracing them sort of like stencils, what I did was actually set them under my sketch pad like this. And I actually just had them sitting under there for about an hour, and it flattened them out pretty nicely. And if you can see, I have tons of different examples here. I went around my yard, my neighbor's yard, and I was picking up different types of leaves, so I have different shapes and different sizes. I live in front of sort of like a forest, so I had lots of stuff. If you don't live in an area where there's lots of trees, going to your nearest park is a great idea as well. And so I have tons of different sizes that I can trace. And that can be kind of cool because this is one of those projects where I feel like the more of them that you do, the cooler it looks. And you could eventually cut them all out and have like a bunch of your own hanging drawing stencils. So I have all my leaves. I kind of flatten them out for about an hour, and now I can, they make them easier to trace. So I'm going to set those aside. And I can actually get into my project. So I have my drawings, and the nice thing about this is because I drew a couple leaves here as an example, and you can see that this was this leaf here. I think it was about that size, something close to that. And this one was a different leaf that I had. I don't know, I think it was this one. So pretty close to the same size that we have here. But I did this, and I still have a lot of room up here, so the nice thing is I can fit more than one on a page. You don't have to just put it in the center of the page. We can save some space and add a different leaf on the page. So I might use one of my different leaves that I have on here, see if I can find another one that fits. I have this big oak tree in our yard, so I might use an oak leaf. Okay, so I have this, so I have my paper set up that I'm going to draw on. I have the leaf I'm going to draw, or trace, and then draw. Alright, I have this all together. And before you get into this project, since you will be bringing leaves inside, unless you do this project outside, since you will be bringing leaves inside, make sure it is okay with your parents that you bring in a few leaves from the house. So we're at this point, and I want to go ahead and trace this. Now, normally I would suggest tracing it with pencils, so that way if you get like way off track, you can erase it. Just so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing, I'm just going to go ahead and trace it in black so you can just see it immediately. And if you can see me tracing this here, I'm not exactly like super up close against the line. Like I'm kind of getting like the shapes here, but I'm not necessarily worried about it like getting super close to the shape. And if you want to trace the stem, you can. You don't have to add the stem if you would just like to do the leaf part. That's totally up to you. So again, I'm just kind of... And if it's not all the way flat, you can just kind of guess the shape that it is. Again, it doesn't have to be precise. And you see how I'm kind of like moving, but I'm trying to make sure that everything's held down as much as I can without moving my leaf. You can also ask an adult or a sibling to help you hold down and trace your leaf while you're doing that as well, if that part is a little challenging. But we have our leaf here, and so I traced it out. Again, I always recommend doing that in pencil first, and then you can outline it. But for the sake of doing this in our class, I was going to do that in black. So I'm just making sure everything's like connected. And again, it's like a little bit bigger. It's not precise, but it's still, you can see that it's a leaf. So if we look at our leaf, we also see these sort of like veins of the leaf. We see these lines, right? And this is going to be important to draw because this is how we're going to create our sections for our Zentangle. So we have this one big line. So if I were to turn my paper, so it's the same direction, I have this one big line that goes down the middle. So I can actually just go ahead and add that. It goes straight down the middle. And then I have these sort of lines that kind of go into the leaves like this, into each side of the leaf. So those sort of look like this. And again, it's not exact. I'm just doing pretty close to what I see. Okay, and then it looks like there's like that. Okay, and then if you wanted to add a few more of them, you could. So if you wanted to, like, I don't know, say that's its own section, or if you wanted to add another little divide right here, you could do that. So this is our basis of our outline of our leaf. So at this point, I would say you'd be doing this in pencil, so I would recommend outlining it with a black marker, and then you could erase your pencil marks. And this is where we get into our actual Zentangle. So as I started to say briefly, Zentangle is a process of actually drawing patterns and repeating them, and it's sort of like a zen or relaxing process. So this is where we can start filling in our designs in each section. The cool thing to make it look like my examples before is that each section, so that's why we added in some of our veins of our leaf, but each section is a different pattern or design. And so you could do it so it's all the same color. I kind of did some color themes, like this leaf down here is sort of all the cool colors, so green, blue, and purple. And this one up here has more of the warm colors like red, orange, and yellow. It also has pink in there. So you could do the same colors on every section, or you could do different colors for each section as well. But either way, each section is going to be a different pattern or design. You can also choose to, if you want to practice doing a few designs on like a scrap piece of paper that you have, you could do that first so you don't jump right into your project. But if you're like, hey, I know what designs I'm going to do, I'm going to just jump in, you could actually just jump in with your markers or crayons or colored pencils and start adding those designs in. And so you could just start with something simple. It could be swirls. Now I have a bunch of markers. You could also use a combination of markers, crayons, and colored pencils if you wanted to. That's totally up to you. So this whole section is one color and one design. I like doing each section a different sort of color. I think they look really cool that way. I could just do something simple like stripes. You can also do like lines, zigzags, polka dots, different sort of shapes, triangles. This one, let's see, I did all the warm colors on one, the cool colors on another one. Maybe this one I'll just do all the different colors. You can kind of play around with this. So a pattern being something where a shape or a line is repeating, so some sort of repeating pattern or design that you want to fill in each space with. And that's totally up to you. And this is sort of the fun part. Kind of you can take some time with this and really think about how you would like to decorate it. There's no right or wrong way. And the cool thing is every leaf looks different. So every time you do this, they're all going to look different too. So it's kind of, you're going with the same sort of theme. It's really nice and relaxing. You could also do this outside, especially because it's been so nice outside. So if you want to do some drawing outside, it's a great day for that before it starts to get cold. It's crazy how warm it's been in Michigan. And then when you fill up your whole, so you fill up your whole shape and your leaf is totally colored in, then at that point you could decide, okay, I'm done, and you could put a couple on one page and have a whole page of design leaves. You could also decide, you know, I want to cut them all out, and then you could have all your cut out leaves and sort of hang them up everywhere, so it'd be like falling leaves, but your own style of falling leaves. You could cut them out and turn them into cards and write something on the back and give them to somebody. That could be a really cool idea. There are endless possibilities of things that you could do with them. But they are very cool. So again, like I said, you could choose the colors that you want. If you want to just stick to a few colors, if you want to use all of them. In some, I've seen where, like, if this section is polka dot, then this section is striped, and this section is striped, and this section is polka dot, so it's like alternating. Totally up to you. Be creative with it. There, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. And take your time with it too. Again, zenful. So zen as in relaxing. You could have your whole family do it. Everyone could make a leaf or a couple different leaves, and then you could see if like other family could guess who made which leaf. That could be kind of fun. Get everyone involved. I'm all for getting everyone involved in the family. Let's see. Yeah, so you can go ahead, take your time, fill these in, and when it's totally filled in, like I said, you can decide if you're done drawing or if you would like to continue on, do more leaves. I think doing as many as you can is really fun, but then you can decide if you want to be done with it and just leave it as a drawing, or if you want to cut it out, or if you want to turn it into a card, or you want to like hang them up everywhere and make it look like falling leaves on your own. That is all cool things that you could do with your really cool Zentangle, so pattern leaves. So I have just one more space to fill. Let's see, what color should we use? I haven't used red. Let's use red. And again, yeah, it's just really relaxing and enjoying. This is one of my, Zentangle is one of my favorite things to do because I love drawing, and this is just such a relaxing thing. And then it's also kind of cool to see with how many patterns you could come up with without repeating any. I'm sure there's some stuff that you guys could come up with that I wouldn't even think of. So, if you finish this up, I would love to see how yours turn out and how yours look. So feel free to share, post them in the comments of this video, or send them to the email in the video at the bottom of the written comments of this video as well. We'd love to see what you guys did, and if you post them, then we might even share them on our page at Cap at Home. So please go ahead and do that. I'd love to see what you guys are doing while I have my finished beautiful leaves. And now the last step, as always, is to make sure we clean up. So if I decide this is done, great. If I end up cutting them out, then I would want to throw away my paper scraps. But either way, I'd want to make sure all my markers have caps on them. I want to put them back where I got them from. And I'd also want to take all the leaves that I brought in, I would want to take them back outside and put them back outside. So that's what I would do, and then at this point I could show off my really awesome Zentangle designed leaves that I made by just tracing some leaves. So again, that basic steps are finding your leaves, tracing them, adding in those lines to divide it up, and going ahead and drawing and adding some color. So thank you for joining me on Cap at Home today. It was great seeing you all again. Hopefully I will see you all next week. As a reminder, we always have videos on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So stay tuned for more of our Cap at Home tutorials this week, as well as if you missed one, you can always go back to our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to see all of our videos. Thanks for joining me again. My name's Miss Allie, and I will see you guys next week.